Hello, in this video we're going to be looking at unit conversions. Unit conversions are an essential part of doing science. You'll see this in all your science courses and throughout your science career. And so it's a really important thing that you become comfortable in doing and get a lot of practice in. A lot of times when people are starting to do conversions, they can get confused as to when you multiply and when you divide, and it's hard to keep it straight. What I would encourage you to do and think about whenever you're going from a set of old units to new units, think of it as you're always doing a multiplication, and what you're doing is multiplying your old units by a conversion factor, where you have new units on top and old units on bottom. That way the old units will cancel each other out and you're just left with the new units that you want. So again, rather than thinking about it as sometimes multiplying, sometimes dividing, you're always doing a multiplication of a conversion factor, where new units are on top, old units are on bottom. And we'll look at some examples of this with the metric system. And to do so, let's look at some common metric prefixes. When you first get started, you'll pretty much just see these three: kilo, centi, and milli. Kilo is lowercase k, which is 1,000. Centi is lowercase c, which is 100th or 0.01. A way you can remember it is centi is like century, related to 100. And then milli is lowercase m, which is 1,000th or 0.001. And a way you can remember it is milli is like millennium, which is related to 1,000. Later on, you may go to the higher and lower prefixes. If you're going up, you have mega, capital M, which is 1 million or 10 to the 6. Giga is capital G, and it's a billion or 10 to the 9. And when you go smaller, you'll have micro, which is 10 to the minus 6. And you'll see that as a lowercase u or a lowercase Greek letter mu. Both are used interchangeably. And then the next step down is nano, lowercase n, which is 10 to the minus 9. So let's use some of these prefixes in some examples where we do a multiplication by a conversion factor. So to start, let's go from meters to kilometers. So our old units are meters and our new units are in kilometers. And let's say we start off with 72,500 meters. So we want our new units of kilometers on top and our old units of meters on the bottom. So we note that 1 kilometer, kilo is 1,000, so 1 kilometer means we have 1,000 meters. So our new units of kilometers are on top, old units are meters are on the bottom, and we multiply that by our original value. We're left with 72.5 kilometers. Again, we do new units on top, old units on bottom. Let's go the other direction, where we start off with milligrams and go to grams. So let's say we have 3.2 milligrams and we want this in grams. So we want our new units of grams on top and our old units of milligrams on the bottom. And we note that 1 milligram, milli is 1,000th or 0.001. So for every 1 milligram, we have 0.001 grams. And we have the grams on top because it's the new unit we want, and we have milligrams on bottom because that's the old unit we want to get rid of. And when we do that multiplication, we're left with 0.0032 grams, or in scientific notation, 3.2 times 10 to the minus 3 grams. Let's do our higher and lower prefixes. So let's say we go from nanometers to meters. So our old units are going to be nanometers, they'll be on bottom, and our new units of meters will be on top. So let's say we have 450 nanometers. We'll put 1 nanometer on bottom. Nano is 10 to the minus 9, so for every 1 nanometer, there are 10 to the minus 9 meters. Regular meters are on top because those are the new units we want. Nanometers are on bottom because those are the old units we want to get rid of. And if we do that multiplication, we're left with 450 times 10 to the minus 9 meters, which reduces to 4.5 times 10 to the minus 7 meters. Lastly, let's go the other direction from meters to micrometers. So we'll start off with 1.7 times 10 to the minus 5 meters. And meters are the units that we want to get rid of, so we'll put that on the bottom. And our new units that we want are micrometers, so we'll put that on top. And we note that for every 1 micrometer, there are 10 to the minus 6 meters. Our new units of micrometers are on top. The old units we want to get rid of are regular meters, which are on bottom. So when we do 1.7 times 10 to the minus 5 meters times 1 micrometer over 10 to the minus 6 meters, we're left with 1.7 times 10 to the 1 micrometers, or 17 micrometers. Whenever you have a negative exponent on bottom, a negative exponent on bottom becomes a positive exponent on top. So this is like 10 to the minus 5 times 10 to the plus 6. And minus 5 plus 6 is 1, so we have 10 to the 1, which then will give us 17. Again, as you do these conversions, always think of it as you're multiplying your old units by a conversion factor, where in that conversion factor you have the new units on top and the old units on bottom, so the old units cancel out and you're just left with the new units on top. And what I would encourage you to do as you become more comfortable and practice on these conversions, just go ahead and write it out. Don't worry about punching it into the calculator right away, because you may forget where the conversion factor is going. Write it out to make it explicit which units you're canceling out and what units you want to be left with. Hope you find this video helpful. I'll be posting some more physics related videos in the future, so stay tuned for more. Thank you.